Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And some drama hitting the timeline last night with regard to the Halo pros getting some fines for the Royal 2 debacle of about a month ago. But also, SlasheR talking about the soft pro players that have backed down from the Sniper GA. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hitting the like button is the best thing you can do. Top this channel recently, people. Please do subscribe as well if you have not yet already. First of all, this I thought was kind of funny from Clayster, because snipers have been the big discussion the last few days. I have an idea. What about the sniper spawns in the middle of the map and teams have to run for it and, it spawns every round or something, really cool, innovative idea. This, of course, is what happens in Halo. There's like the sniper comes up, you have to fight for it for map control, pick it up, and then, of course, you can use it to your advantage. Now, the sniper in Halo is pretty strong compared to, I guess, the one that we have here in Vanguard, but still, the pros, I guess, are going to work out exactly how things are going to go there. At least it seems right now we get to see it at the Kickoff Classic, and we'll see how things go from there. Most teams seem to be on board with that at the moment. This also to mention, because the pros in Call of Duty have certainly caught their fair share of fines the last couple of years, and I frankly thought this was something that might be, more common in the kind of franchise league when the CDL and Activision are super involved. I didn't necessarily think this would be the case in Halo, but it turns out it is right from HGS, because it's not, of course, franchised, but I guess they still have maybe some contracts that allow them to do this. So anyway, back in January, or back in maybe December sometime, actually, 12th of December, just before the Raleigh event, it was a Royal 2 that got banned for this kind of geofiltering thing that forfeited Sentinel's first place, therefore Formal had to step in, and then we had that kind of crazy situation that happened in the middle of December and more recently as well. Now, there was some crazy reaction to this going on at the time that we did look at from some of his teammates, of course, saying some stuff about the way that the process was being run. This, for example, like a couple of tweets right here, right from Lethal, for example. This also from Royal 1, right, who says, what a disgusting group of individuals involved in this process. Never have I seen such an unfair and unjust investigation process in my life. And Tashi, you disgust me. So, these are some of the tweets that were coming out. Definitely, some people would say, relatively immature. I mean, we looked about them at the time, and as Frosty goes, never seen a team cheat but intentionally put themselves at a disadvantage because of it. Nice job over there, guys. And well, plenty of other similar responses that come out at the time. Now, interestingly enough, it seems that Halo is actually taking action against these players, because they come out last night and say, Royal 1 and Lethal, Lethal had way more tweets than just that, but, and I'm pretty sure most of them got deleted, but, severe disparagement of 343i and HGS administration and social media misconduct, effectively. So they're fining both Royal 1 and Lethal. Now, the numbers are not public, but supposedly they're even more than what the COD pros get fined. And we think the COD pros get fined a fair bit, or at least, we've talked, Scump's talked quite recently. He's been fined like $1,000 for something he didn't really understand. I think most of the times the fines are like from 500 to maybe a couple of grand or something in the Call of Duty size. So not sure what they're sitting at in Halo, but apparently they're quite severe. And maybe they consider it to be like a month's salary or whatever that they might be docking them. It's kind of crazy that they can even do this, honestly, because I guess they're HGS code of conduct, so they might be allowed to do so. But kind of interesting, because it's not like a franchise league like Call of Duty is. But as Snakebite says, if any CDL players wouldn't mind sharing, how much would you say is a typical fine in the league? As of course, Octane's done some, he's done some pretty extensive research on this issue, and as he says, so my experience is different, but I'd say between 500 and 3k, depending on what it is. That's kind of interesting, right? So Octane saying, look, he's been fined up to 3k maybe at some point, down to 500 at another point, and his places, they do be adding up, though, they pretty much add up. So that's kind of the thing that he said, especially during Modern Warfare, when the frustrations were running as high as they pretty much ever have about the state of the online league, especially, that he was getting fined a fair bit. I'm pretty sure he got fined more than he made in prize money, which may have been like 10k that year, or at least more than Seattle made in prize money, which would be pretty absurd. So he certainly had his fair share of experiences on this issue, and well, even as he continued to reply with it, I mean, Snakebite says, I wouldn't share the amount since it's their situation, but to see my teammates fined more money than players in an established 25 million buy-in per team leagues that talk about the Call of Duty League after we come off 2+ years of grassroots is interesting. Can fully admit to punishment is warranted, but apparently they're getting fined a lot of money. So I don't know if he's saying they're getting fined like more than 3k, the figure that Octane's saying, but still, regardless, kind of crazy, right? And certainly the Call of Duty pros getting involved in this one. Like they talk about actually some of the fine penalties right here. So apparently the maximum penalty here is 3k for certain things, and maximum penalty 2k depending on exactly what they do. Severe disparagement seems to be down from 1,000 up to 3,000. So I guess something in that ballpark in a hands-on experience, says Octane. So I guess he got this pretty much right on the money. But kind of crazy that it's in the couple of thousands for saying something like this on the timeline, right? Especially in a league, I guess, that's more grassroots than Call of Duty is. So kind of interesting that they're taking lessons, I guess, from the CDL on this subject. Let's dive into some Scrim results then that were going down last night. Fair play to Paris, because I must say, as of late, Paris have been seemingly getting better and better, because Boston, we know, are pretty good. And Paris in their hard points have been looking pretty solid lately. All of these were very close, right? I mean, they went 2-2 at the end. They then played a couple of controls. Right now, Garatu and Tuscan seem to be the only two playable controls, which is kind of interesting, because what do you do at the Kickoff Classic, which, we imagine imagine it still might be in this state. So at least I guess we have 2 control maps, but still, ideally you want 3, because then you want one team to ban one team to ban one, and then you play on the third one. Now, of course, that might not be the case. I'm not sure how they're going to determine what the second or what the third map is going to be out of these 2, or if another one magically becomes playable in the next week, maybe that happens as well. But that's what most teams are practicing on right now. Very similar scrim results here between Boston and LAG. That goes 3-3 as well. So, just seems like a lot of teams are very competitive right now, and that is, of course, very exciting stuff going into the new year. This also between Boston and LA Thieves, it seems they only pretty much played the hard points, but yeah, all these scrim sets on the day were drawn between the 2 teams, Boston and someone else. So, really interesting, frankly, to see all these teams seemingly very middle of the pack, and well, anything can happen, honestly, at this kickoff classic, and maybe this entire season, right? Scump seems to say the skill gap in this game is not exactly where it could be. Let's talk about the sniper debacle a little bit more, though, because as the LA Thieves say, before the pros decide to make the return, that, like, if we're throwing out snipers, bring it back the specialist, right, and have the 10 best back in business. There were, well, certainly some very memorable plays with this one from Octane, Dashy, and the like at the time. But lots of talk about the way the pro players have taken action on this issue. This I thought was kind of funny from Priestahh right here. He says to Clayster, hyping up Simp after that sniper clip, now you're trying to GA it, right? And well, as Clayster's in reply, I'm not trying to GA anything you do, because, Clayster's always kind of been the guy that wants to play everything completely out of the box. But I guess if something is going to get GA'd, Clayster is going to give his opinion on the matter. Now, as he says in reply, this is kind of the classic Twitter reply, right? What people say, they kind of, poke the bear a little bit, and then when the bear roars at them, they then, get a little bit timid on the timeline. I honestly didn't believe you'd reply, good luck this season, my guy. So a classic Twitter reply. I respect to Priestahh not deleting this, actually, because, Clayster kind of comes back and says Twitter in a nutshell, which is like, just classic stuff, really. But what SlasheR says in the reply here was kind of funny, and he talked about this yesterday, because SlasheR has made it very clear he's in favor of the sniper GA. We imagine, as maybe one of the guys pushing forwards. He says he's not in the GA chats quite like he used to be, so maybe he's not the guy directly in there kind of saying, look, we got to ban it for XYZ reason, but seemingly there are some people in there doing just that, and maybe they might be from LAG and SlasheR's team, so it's interesting to see. But anyway, as he says, apparently that's the GA chat nowadays too, folding under pressure. So I'm definitely implying that SlasheR, and maybe understandably so if he is in favor of the sniper GA, as it seems he very much is, that that he's kind of frustrated that a lot of these pro players seemingly have just folded to the pressure of the community. We know that the community said, look, we don't want snipers to be gone, we need the entertainment in this game given the state of it right now. The pros were trying to back their opinions up, but eventually they backed down right and said, okay, yeah, we'll use them at the kickoff classic, we'll see how things go. But of course the pros then actually wanted snipers to be GA'd, like really did want them, and maybe had good reasons to, if they didn't necessarily have a good sniper on their team, you could argue, compared to some of the other rosters. At least that has been the implication from some people, that maybe they're pretty frustrated about it. So SlasheR seems to be saying, look, these guys are pretty soft, right? The pressure comes on for the community, all of a sudden they're just folding, even though maybe he thinks that the competitive integrity point is very much valid. At the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, surely it can't be a bad thing to just use them at the kickoff and see how things go, because it's a LAN event, nothing really too much on the line, and at least then, if they are really OP, we can show the community they are so overpowered, and even like if you have to take attachments off or whatever that might be to make them used in competitive, like we'll take anything we can get to use snipers in competitive, really. Everyone in the entire world pretty much wants snipers in competitive, with the exception of a dozen or so Call of Duty pros, it seems. And of course this was, Simp said a couple of days ago, which seems still to be the prevailing wisdom right now, that snipers are going to be back in business here. But surely there's more they could do, as we said, with attachments, with certain situations. Like I think Methods made quite a good point on the flank about like the way certain maps are designed. Like if you have a sniper like holding an angle, really difficult to deal with that if there's no other way to kind of approach that situation. But at the end of the day, maybe you put another sniper on the other team to try and counter the Guerrilla. That's kind of the thing that happened. If a sniper was dominating a certain bomb site on a map, like you get a sniper out on your team and you go challenge the guy. That's the way to do it. No one's stopping you from doing that, right? So I think that the pros can definitely work around any of the competitive integrity issues there are right now. This also with Crimsix, he's always trolling, he's always having some entertaining stuff hitting the timeline. Like he's got the night vision goggles on right here. And also as Zero says, like Crim just said that Vanguard is a better Call of Duty than Cold War. I've lost absolute full. Now I know that Crimsix wasn't the biggest fan of Cold War. I know that generally he liked Modern Warfare, of course, and maybe that engine, right? Because he won the World Championship on that game. Not sure this take really holds too much water, but probably Crim trolling at his finest once again. But maybe not, who knows? Maybe he genuinely loves Vanguard and he's dug into Martin here on the timeline. This also from Breaking Point as we close things out on this day 2018. Of course, yesterday, Team Caliber went back-to-back, winning CWL New Orleans. They won Dallas, they won New Orleans. Phenomenal throwback, really. And this is one of the most exciting things about the fact that early Call of Duty titles, like the game had obviously just come out at this point, really, like it wasn't too long after the start of the game. And this team of Chino, Accuracy, Kenny, and Theory really picked up the game and had the best teamwork in the entire game early on and understood the game better than anyone else. That's the beauty of having early tournaments. You get kind of crazy results like this, where they eventually had to make some changes to to be competitive and bring more firepower onto their team, which they did towards the end of the year. But early on, it was teamwork and understanding that could actually get them through. And just to finish off with this, right, which is, you know, Clayster sniper clip from back in the good old days. That's the thing. When you think of, you know, memorable sniper clips or memorable search and destroy clips in general, so many of them are with the sniper in hand. This is a great example, really, of Clayster clutching a fantastic 1 versus 3. This was the first shot. Then he goes all the way around to top red. Pretty sure he no-scopes killer here in a second in top red. Yeah, you'll see it right here. No-scopes killer against Freaker Impact, of course, when he was on Unite at the time. Ponytail Clayster in full effect. And then it comes down to the 1 versus 1 against Parasite. You know, Camp 40 versus an SMG. And misses the quick scope just about. But then he takes the gunfight at the end of the day. This is, you know, just so memorable, to be honest. The nostalgia all over the park. Especially when Clayster starts, you know, shouting up. And, you know, when he's got the ponytail in the background. Just does not get too much better than this. But very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit that like button and tell us the YouTube gods. This is a good video. I just like you should see it as well. And I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.
Is up for Unite. So for Rico playing this. Whoa! Bam! Woo! Karma felt that one. The hands of Clayster taking him out with the DSR. Pulls out the cap 40, and now he's going to try to be a hero this game.
Has Clayster always been this good with the sniper?
No, I don't believe he has, to be honest with you.
I don't think I've ever seen him pull it out on any of our pro scrims. He's been using it all tournament long, and he's doing phenomenal work.
He needs to start going on YouTube doing, you know, 360 YY ladder no scope.
Oh, no scope! Take the seat, killing the last player. 25 seconds left on the clock. Clayster is going for the bomb. He's about to find a player up close.
Oh my goodness.
It is a cap 40 versus an SMG, and Clayster is going one-on-one versus Parasite. Oh my Clayster! The 3v1 clutch, the last member alive, dodging behind the pillars. He is going to finish with a cap 40 headshot, taking down Parasite and tying it up at 2 rounds apiece. That is the moment.